Hello, hello. I'm back. Another news. Basketball has returned. People are getting distracted again. Times are good right now. Times are good. Just watching these couple of these basketball games so far. And I just gotta say, the virtual fans, those things are weird. Like, man, you got that cutout from Dirk. You got that weird cutout from like Chris Bosh, and like all these dudes are just cheering. It just feels so. Is this the future we're heading? No emotions, whatever. You can't even attend stadiums. Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Want to talk about the couple games that I've seen, share my thoughts, and the first game of the bubble that I caught was the Lakers and the Clippers game, and I gotta say, dude, it was pretty good, pretty great actually. I mean, the first half, man, the Clippers play like garbage, like pretty trash, right? Like, both these teams look kind of rusty. I'm like, ugh. Anthony Davis is carrying the Lakers, and LeBron was like trash, dude. I was like, what is going on with LeBron? Like, he had a little too much wine or whatever. So, remember the time he brought wine to the bench? I'm like, what is this guy doing?
Coffee cup there.
Yep.
You think there's coffee in there? Now he's straight up showing up to the game with a wine glass.
Yo.
He just showed up to the game with a wine glass.
Hell no, it's not coffee.
And now he's like, yo, let me get that. Look at this one. He goes to his guy, let me get that black tape around a plastic cup. And watch the sip here. Watch the sip, how long the sip is. If that's water, you don't take a little sip.
That's the key.
And people were just yapping it all up. It's like, oh yeah, that's my king. My king. And he was like, ugh. Anthony Davis was just killing the Clippers. And the worst part of it all is like people are saying like, yeah, that's what these Laker fans are like, yeah, that's what we thought. Clippers ain't shit, right? Well, dude, I mean, the fact that they barely beat the Clippers, and what's it called? Like Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell didn't show up, and they averaged 19 points each on the team, and they barely lost by 2. Andrew Shamet played like garbage. I don't know what's going on. Like, they were just out of sync, out of mind. And I was like, man, like, how's this game so close? Just by watching, how is this game so close, right? Yeah, Kawhi Leonard, he was okay. He was all right. Paul George was lining it up. Paul George lights it up again the next game they're playing against the Pelicans. Pelicans is trash, I'm telling you. Right? Lakers, Anthony Davis straight up dominates when there was no big man guarding him. He got Marquise Morris? I don't know. One of the Morris twins on the Clippers. Dude can't guard Anthony Davis, right? And he was trash too. But then later on the next game, Anthony Davis, like he played pretty garbage, against the Raptors, I guess, once Ibaka, and Marcus on him, like, oh, it's way tougher now. But, just judging off of it, this is just a sneak preview of the playoffs, hopefully these teams get all the way to the Western Conference Finals while, being as healthy as possible. You can't really say full health because, I mean, dude, it's basically almost impossible for, these teams to meet up full health because injuries, you have some massive luck for that to happen. But I mean, just by judging, Clippers playing great defense. I don't know what they're doing with, Patrick Beverley. He didn't start. And later on, he started playing. I don't know what is going on with Doc Rivers and such. But You know, the fact that, they barely beat him while Trez and Lou were out, it just goes to show just how deep this Clipper team is. And that's why, they are like the favorite. And people want to say, like Kench Person will say, hey, I'll take King James, blah, 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 whatnot. Look, man, for as great as LeBron James is, like, dude, this is possibly, the best defense he's ever faced. Like, I mean, you got two freaking players on the wing, in addition to a point guard defender as well, who's great. They can always switch. Like, it's gonna be hell. Like, yeah, you have Anthony Davis, but it's gonna be trouble, passing it to Anthony Davis. But once these guys are all in sync. Now, for the Clippers, like, they do have kind of a chemistry issue because they just been dealing with injuries all year, and the fact that they're dealing with injuries all year and still second in the West just goes to show, dude, like, this team is for real. They just need, like, continue developing chemistry and whatnot, and their hope, the Clippers' hope, is basically once they get to the first round, they're gonna try to establish as much chemistry as possible, because once they head to the second round, that's when the real showdown goes, right? Like, showdown is like, maybe they face against the Nuggets, maybe they face against, I don't know, like the Rockets, whatever. It's like, the middling team that you need to go over the hump, right? To face the true contender in the West, the Lakers. And that's basically what they're putting all their bets on, because, it's kind of do or die right now. I mean, the fact that, the 20 games were canceled, like, they were hoping that 20 games would be used to develop as much chemistry as possible. Now they got 8, or now they got 6 now after they played like a couple of days, but now they got 6, and they have like additional 4 more games for, in case, they sweep whoever they're playing the first round, right? Like, they need to establish as much chemistry as possible, because, like, sometimes, like, when you see the Clippers play, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like they're super out of sync, and there are times when they're like super smooth. I'm like, dude, like, yeah, these guys got some chemistry issues. Like, they're just not. It just goes to show that chemistry is a very big factor, and winning a championship as well. And you can tell, like, these guys haven't played, like, on the court with each other in real game scenarios. Like, scrimmage scenarios and practice scenarios, that's all cool and all, and different. But, it's totally different when you compare to, like, Lakers. Like, dude, these Lakers have had the same people over and over again. They've developed as much chemistry as possible. LeBron James knows, you develop as much chemistry as possible. And then, you got Deion Waiters, stupid ass. She's a chucker, but, he's been playing pretty well so far. But, this is going to basically be a live or die, by JR and Dion. Now, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, come on. Like, dude, these dudes are just, these guys are just low IQ, chuckers. And, just by judging off, like his comparison on when he was playing the Clippers, playing good, then you see him playing like as a rapper. It's like, what the hell is he doing? Sometimes, but man, the hope for the Lakers is, to try to get, Rajon Rondo as quickly as possible back. Because, I mean, once LeBron sits down, obviously they do not have a playmaker, because the team is built around LeBron, right? So once LeBron sits down, all these like spread out shooters like don't know what to do, so they're just gonna throw it in the paint. Anthony Davis is just gonna he's gonna isolate his way into getting points, right? And that's what he did. A lot of isolation, a lot of spreading the floor. Like when LeBron says like they got nobody, and then when Rondo comes back, he's gonna take up the role of being the backup point guard. But how far can Like, how much can the problem with the Lakers is how much can certain teams push them? Because they're pretty old. I think they're the oldest team, right? So like, like, yeah, I know, like, they're beating people off experience and such, but and based off of talent, but just they can get pretty tired easily. I mean, LeBron's not no spring chicken anymore, right? You just try to outrun the Lakers and such. Like, I don't know, like for people, like, that's why I believe that the Rockets are kind of a pretty bad matchup for the Lakers. I mean, the Rockets just don't care. They just outrun them. Like, bro, they'll let you have the rebound and just outrun them. All they gotta do is box out. But just basically a sneak preview of the true contenders of the West. My pick still the Clippers. Like, I feel like people want to say they got all the championship experience in the Lakers, but so what, right? On the Raptors, the only people with championship experience was Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green, right? Now you move Kawhi into the Clippers. He's basically the only guy with championship experience yet again, right? So, I mean, once you win, bro. That's basically it. And my pick is still the Clippers. I'm not really too worried about the chemistry issues, because just based off of talent and play style, like, it's great. I mean, Clippers is basically modern day 90s version of the Bulls, 90s Bulls. Wow, worded that really weird. And the Lakers right now are basically a modern day version of the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, and just by seeing those two play styles come together, it's gonna be really interesting to see. It's gonna be a series that goes 7 easily, I believe. I mean, it's not so easy. It just depends on how game 1 and game 2 starts for me to really believe. But I think it's gonna have to go 7 pretty easy. Like, these two players should have be up their peak, and I think in this just championship of the West is gonna win it, no matter who comes out of the East. Even Giannis, if he comes out of the East, I'm not too much of a believer in the Bucks until they show me more, until Giannis shows me more, so I can trust Chris Middleton, which I don't. Bledsoe's pretty trash, but it is what it is. But that's what I think.